Before we get started, I thought a table of contents would be helpful, and at the end, I'm going to tell you what the devil's ex-wife had to say about this. You don't want to miss this. Hi everyone, this is Janelle Champion, and today we are going to be discussing the music industry. Now, there's a lot out there in the media about the Travis Scott and Astroworld concert and the people who died and all of what took place there. And, my heart really goes out to those who lost their lives, those who lost their loved ones. It's just not something that you would have expected. It's just such a tragic incident. And I just felt like this is a good opportunity really for us to learn the truth about this world, because there's just so much like back and forth. There's so much fighting and so much bickering. You have, people that are saying that this world, this is, demonic. And then you have people that are like, oh, it's just music. It's just entertainment. And, I just want us to stop and just hear from God. What is God saying? For those of us who call ourselves Christians, who call ourselves believers of Jesus Christ, we have to follow his way. Doesn't matter what we think, we follow his way. And, I wanted to just share this little testimony. When I was in my teens, right, I was probably around 15-ish years old, and I was in high school, and, coming from school, and it was like BET, the top 10 videos of the day, MTV, the top 10 videos of the day. Like that was like every afternoon, that was it. Okay. And I remember one day God spoke to my heart, and God actually told me, he said, stop listening to secular music. Stop listening to it. And it was a struggle. I'm not going to say like, oh, right away I just stopped. No, it was hard because it was just a part of life. But I remember the third time. So the first time he said it, I went back into it. Second time I obeyed for a little bit, went back. I wasn't consistently being obedient. And I remember the third time God spoke to me, and he said it to me this way. He said, every time you get yourself involved in that music, in that world, you've backslidden. He's like, I see you as a backslider. And I was like shocked because, the way that I lived for God, like I was just, I was reading my Bible. I was, praying. I would even fast. Like I was at church all the time. Like I kept myself pure. Like I wasn't, being sexually immoral. I was like, and I was just like, what? Like God was like, a backslider. Like that's how I view you. And I didn't understand that at that time, but I knew the tone of his voice was very serious. And I knew like, you need to take this seriously. You need to stop playing games. And so I had to like really take this more seriously and cut this music out of my life. So what I want to point out to you is like, I didn't learn this from like a denomination. I didn't learn this from a person telling me to stop doing this. I heard this directly from God, and it's something that I wanted to do. I liked that music. Okay. I liked listening to that music. I liked the video. It was entertainment and it was fun. And so it wasn't something like I didn't want to give it up, but God spoke to me and God told me his opinion, his view is that whenever I got myself listening to that music, he saw me as I've backslidden. I've turned my back on him, and I've gone into worldliness. And as I got older, I started to study this industry. I love to research. I love studying things. And so I started studying this industry. And that's when I really understood why God said, as once you start listening to this music, my view of you, backslider, like you're gone. I understood why when I started to really study that industry. And I'm going to share some of what I've learned with you guys. Now, I don't know that I won't be able to fit everything in one video. It's a ton of information. I'm not going to fit everything in one video. Depending on how this video goes, I may do a second one. I'm not sure. We'll see how this goes, and I may do a second one. I'm just following the leading of the Holy Spirit here, because it's about giving you what you need to hear. When I started studying the music world, right, I started realizing that the music videos themselves are telling stories, and there's a lot of symbolism and imagery in those music videos, and they are revealing deep secrets of the occult and of satanic practices. Even the dance moves, some of the dance moves are actually satanic occultic practices and worship that is taking place. And so let me just backtrack a little bit and share another story. And this is a different perspective. This is from the scientist and the psychology perspective. So I was watching, the news one day, and this was a long time ago. And around that time, there were quite a few school shootings, children that, went and shot up their schools. And one young guy killed his parents, and he said he was hearing the voice of God telling him to do it, and that's why he did it. And so I forgot which network it was. It was like a huge network, right? It wasn't like a local TV network like CNN or something like that, a huge network. So what they did is they did a panel of scientists and psychologists, and they were trying to assess like what would drive these children to do this. And I kid you not, what they said, the scientists and the psychologists connected the children's behavior to the music they listened to. They connected it to the music. And this is what they said, that in music, there are two sets of lyrics. There's the first lyric that your ears are hearing, but embedded in the music, there's a second set of lyrics that you're not hearing. But according to the scientists and the psychologists, your subconscious is hearing those lyrics and it picks it up. And so they were saying that the music that these boys were listening to had messages that they were not hearing with their ears, but their subconscious picked up that message. And that's what led them to commit murder, to kill their own parents, to shoot up their schools. That's what caused that. And I was sitting there, like, I remember I was at my aunt's house in her basement watching the TV, and I was like, what? Wow. And it kind of just stayed with me, but it didn't like register. I was, in my teens. So like it didn't fully like register, but it just like stayed with me. And as I started to study this when I got older, I love psychology and neuroscience. And as I began to study this more and more, it all started to click and make sense. Now, this practice of a second set of lyrics, do you guys know where that's from? It's from the Church of Satan. Okay, the head of the Church of Satan in the U.S., I'm not sure if he's still the head, was the head in the U.S. I believe he might have passed away. He actually praises this thing. He praises this concept of having two sets of lyrics. It's from the Church of Satan, and it is their way to infiltrate their values into society, because society on its own is not going to welcome the doctrine that is found in the Bible of Satan. He has a Bible. He has a church. The society on its own is not going to embrace his values. So they have to find ways to sneak their values in. And so they praise this concept of black masking, where you have a second set of lyrics in songs that people are not hearing with their ears, but it is entering their subconscious or their spirit. It is entering their spirit. It is affecting their lives. It is affecting how they think. It is affecting their values, and it affects their behaviors. And so now, very strategically, the devil is raising people all around the world to follow his standards and his values simply by the things they expose themselves to, like the music they listen to, the things they watch on television. I'm going to try not to get into the TV, because the TV, that's another one right there. The Bible tells us, as a man thinks in his heart, so is he. The devil knows this. And so the devil, let me tell you, people think that, I'll hear people say he's an idiot. He's not an idiot. Okay. The devil is very intelligent, and he uses a lot of psychology. He uses extreme psychology to get to people. And it is so subtle that people don't even realize that it is happening. He uses extreme psychology, he understands the human mind and the human brain better than we do. Better than our science does. He understands how we work. And so he uses psychology to work on us, to get us to be what he wants us to be. This is how the devil robs people of their destinies, right? He uses psychology. Now, back to the scientists and the psychologists who were discussing the music. They're literally saying right in music is the power to control people's lives. These were not Christians. They were not coming from a spiritual perspective. They were coming from science and psychology. And they are saying that this music has the ability to control you, because there is a power that is inside of it that you don't even know is there, but it goes inside of you, somewhere deep in you. It goes into your subconscious, and it now begins to formulate how you think. As a man thinks in his heart, so is he. So it begins to control how you think. Thoughts begin to pop up in your mind. Thoughts begin to come into your mind about certain things. And then what you think determines now your future. And that's why the devil attacks the mind so much, because if he can get your mind, he's got your future, he's got your destiny. That's all he needs. He just needs your mind. He just needs your mind, and he has everything else, because you are what you think. Your future is determined by what you think today. So how does it work in the music industry, right? So, these artists, like, don't be fooled. These artists are Satanists. And if they are not, the devil is still using them and working in what they're doing. The way that it works is they are each given a kingdom. So within the kingdom of darkness, they're given a kingdom. They're given an area where they are supposed to rule. That's why you will hear them use terms like queen this, queen that, right? Those are spiritual terms. For those of you that are familiar with the kingdom of darkness, the marine kingdom, the princesses, the queen this, those are spiritual terms. They represent levels that they have been elevated to in the kingdom of darkness, and their mission is souls. Their mission is souls, but each of them push a certain theme. They win souls through a certain type of sin, and so their music promotes some type of sin. So within the kingdom that they have been given, or the domain, the rule that they have been given, they have to bring in souls. They win souls, and they win souls through their music and through their live events. That's how they bring souls into they're technically initiating people into the kingdom of darkness, and they keep count. And as they initiate more and more, they get promotions in the spirit realm. They get, more awards, right? More Grammys, more, they get more awards as they reach certain levels, as they hit certain milestones of initiating people into the kingdom of darkness. And so the concerts are set up for satanic worship. The stage is an altar, and all around the concert are demons, demonic spirits, all of these secular artists, all of them. Okay, the spirits are there in their concerts. And when people are singing, when people are lifting up their hands, when people are clapping their hands, when people are dancing, all of that is worship to the devil. Look at church. I mean, come on, clap. What does the Bible say? Clap your hands unto the Lord, like dance before the Lord, like all of this stuff. It's worship. When we do that, we're worshiping God. We lift up our hands. We're giving God worship. So why do we think that it's any different? When you go to a concert and, they intentionally will tell you to lift your hands up, because they need to get that worship on record. They need to get it on record. They will tell you to clap your hands, repeat after me, that, all of those things. It is to get it on record. This is worship to the devil. And so back to my testimony at the beginning, when God told me that, when you participate in this music, I see you as a backslider. It makes a lot of sense, because I have now partnered with darkness. I am now sitting there singing a song that was birthed by the enemy, that has demonic influences in it, demonic spirits in it. This is the enemy of God. And I'm sitting here singing his songs and, having a good time. Talking about, it's just the beat. I just, I like the beat. And I'm there jamming and having a good time, using my body, which is the temple of the Holy Spirit. I'm using that body to dance, to songs that were written by demons, by the devil. And so it's like, it's in the spiritual realm. It's a really confusing message. It's like, how are the angels to respond to that? It's like, wait, whose side are you on again? So when we understand, and I have barely scratched the surface, when we understand the backstory of this world, we start to realize that, we really can't be dabbling in both, because it's not just songs. It's not just music. I wish it was, because I'm not going to sit here and act like as if this stuff, they don't sound good. They sound good. The music sound, you want to dance, you want to, but we have to walk in discernment, and we have to walk in understanding. We perish because we don't have knowledge. People are perishing because they lack knowledge. People are dying in this world because they don't have knowledge. You see this stuff and you think it's just innocent music, it's just entertainment, and you start, dancing to it and having a good time and listening, and you don't realize that you're opening up your spirit to receive demons. You're opening up your spirit to receive values and doctrines of the kingdom of darkness. You're putting your own self in bondage by choice. And then we turn and we say, oh Lord, I love you. And we want to use that same body to worship God. And we want to say we love him and we're children of God. And then we turn around and we put in music of his enemy. And we enjoy it and we love it and we participate in the worship of the devil. It's like it's confusing in the spirit realm. Like, who are you and whose side are you on? Because one minute you're worshiping the devil, the next minute you claim to worship God. It's confusing. And so this is why God said to me, listen, when you start to listen to that music, I see you as a backslider. That's what God said to me. That world is so dark and it is so demonic. I don't know if you guys remember that show, P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, Sean Combs, whatever his name is. He used to have a show, I think it was Making the Band or something like that. And there was one, I used to watch it. And there was one episode where, one season where this guy, he didn't make the band, but they really liked him. So they wanted to do a solo work with him. I don't know if you all remember that. I don't remember his name, but he was like a skinny, tall guy. I think he was white or very light. And he went into the studio to record his song. And he was there with the producers and they recorded it and they were done. Here's what the producer did. He said, I need to check with, I think he said the Starships. I got to check with the Starships to see if they approve of this song. And he began to do this stuff in the air, close his eyes and and for people who've ever been around witchcraft, that was witchcraft. They do their little whatever. They're conjuring up the spirits to communicate with them. And he began to do that. And then he came out of his trance and he was like, the Starship approves. And I'm watching the TV say what now? What? And then Diddy comes on laughing. Oh, haha, I know he looks crazy, but that's the industry. That's the industry is what he said. That's the industry. The Starships has to approve of the song before it's released. Now get you this guy, the singer, excuse me, the singer, he had no idea what was going on. He looked like he was petrified. He was just looking like, what in the world is happening? He didn't know what was going on. But the people producing the music, producing the song, they were Satanists. They were involved in witchcraft. So they had to make sure that this song had Lucifer's stamp on it before it was released. So even if some of these artists are not aware, their music is still being used for satanic purposes. Even if they themselves are not aware, their music is still being used for satanic purposes. Here's another story I'm going to share. Some of you, if you've watched my past videos, you may have heard me speak of this woman before. I was a child. She was a family friend. And this woman was a heavy Satanist. She was married. She was a wife of Lucifer. Okay. She was one of his wives, she said, because apparently he has multiple wives. But she worked side by side with him. Okay. And she said what they do, she became a Christian and she was speaking at in my community. And she said she strictly warned people. And she warned us about secular music there, but for some reason it's, when I got old, I still got into listening to it. But she warned us about it, and she was saying that you should never listen to it. She was like, one of the worst things you could do is listen to that kind of music. And she said she actually was in charge of a team of people, and they would travel the entire world. So this is not just in America. They travel the entire world. So they do it in the middle of the night, and they go to record labels, record studios. They go to studios around the world and they record chants, satanic chants in songs. Before the song is released, they have to record the chants in the songs. And what it does is anyone who listens to that song, so Christian or not, anyone who listens to that song, a curse is released upon them. The chains are placed upon them in the spirit, like a demon enters their life. Like something, any person who listens to it, something from the satanic realm enters their lives and it begins to affect it can affect people in many, many different ways. Like sexual immorality is one of the biggest things that we see that has come into society through the music, through the TV. Like there's a lot of hidden messages in the songs that promote promiscuity. So you're listening to these songs, but then thoughts come into people's minds that are sexually impure thoughts of lust, all these sorts of sexually impure thoughts. And then as people keep thinking on these things, they then fall into that bondage. They fall into that trap of sexual impurity. That's one of the reasons why, America and many nations went from sexual purity being high to now pretty much there's practically no sexual purity. That's why that has happened. It is because these influences have been pushed out into society, pushed out in the masses into society, and it just gets into your mind. That's it. It's thoughts in your mind, and those thoughts begin to dictate or they begin to try to give you direction. They influence you, and then now it's either one, you follow them because you think on them all the time, so you follow them, or now you have this battle that you're fighting because you may know the word of God and you may realize this thought isn't of God. So now you're fighting battles that you don't need to be fighting. And it's because we chose to open a door. We chose to open that door for the enemy to come in. And one of the things when, I studied music videos and the symbolism that is in music videos, and they let people know, they tell people that they are Satanists. And I think that this is intentionally done because when God is judging, Lucifer can say, well, I made it known to them. I made it known. I showed the symbols in the videos. Like their eyes should have been, or like it's not, he's deceiving people, but people are still held responsible because he's making it known. It's not that hidden. Even I know unsaved people that are like, this stuff is demonic. There's something in this stuff that's unsaved people. And now even in the church, people will defend them. People defend Beyonce. I went there. Beyonce. So many people in the church just look up to her and love her. And I'm like, this woman is one of the biggest Satanists of our times. Yes, I know I went there. I am sorry that I went there, but I just had to mention Beyonce. So many people get so defensive when you mention her. That's because she's an idol for a lot of people. But the truth is she is not of God. And so we need to know the truth. You may disagree with me, and that's okay. I always say to you guys, I'm teaching you what God taught me. He's your father too. So you can talk to God. You can ask him and let him show you the truth, just like he showed it to me. So I'm going to end the video right here because I recorded about 50 minutes of this and it's just too long for one video. So I'm going to stop right here. And if you disagree with me on, the Beyonce point, I actually explain a little bit more. So I can post that as a second video. Guys, if you have not subscribed to my channel, please go ahead and do so right now. Subscribe to my channel, give a thumbs up on this video, and feel free to share this on your social media pages as well. I am on Instagram and Facebook. Please connect with me there that we can continue to learn and grow strong together. I want to say thank you for joining me here today. I hope that you enjoyed this video. And if there are things that you want to hear about, just drop a message, drop a comment in the comment box and let me know if there are any topics that you guys want to hear. Thank you again for watching. May God bless you, and please go forward in God. Don't go backwards. It's time to end stagnancy. Let's go forward in Jesus' name. God bless you. Mwah. Bye guys.